Look at us. We are back again for episode 6. I don't know where I'm. How many fingers do I have? 6. Episode 6 here on what? What is that?
What is this?
It's I'm middle fingering in the middle of my 5 fingers.
That's just weird, but okay.
It's gross. I agree. Look at me. I'm a popular lesbian. Okay. Welcome back to another episode of Summer Sessions, episode 6. As you can see, I'm wearing a baseball cap because in honor of Romaine Patterson, it's Romaine Patterson Day here on Summer Sessions. So I'm wearing a hat for you.
I'm wearing a cake for you.
Wow. I'm wearing a virgin hat.
Oh, I like it.
And I recommend people no longer be virgins. So, and by that I mean you should
Book a
sail
cruise.
on a Virgin Voyages cruise. Yeah.
I agree. It's fun and fabulous.
It is really fun, and we'll get into a little bit of it later in our What's Hot About, I think. But welcome back to Summer Sessions. We've got 3 parts to this 6. Oh, God. A lot of finger play here. Really is a lesbian-themed show.
Uh-huh.
3 parts. The question of the day, a recent story that we didn't talk about on the show, our live daily radio show, we wish we had. And then what's hot about. And then at the end, if we have some viewer feedback or questions, we will get to that. And we do actually this week have 2.
Oh, interesting.
So 4 parts, episode 6, 4 parts, 2 viewer feedback comments saying 2 hosts, 1 lesbian. Okay.
This is a very lesbian themed episode, I can tell.
It
of
really
the summer
is.
session.
You know what? I'm really like theming things to you, Romaine, because I
Wow. Why?
brought some props for prop comedy.
Oh, a Coda Joe mug. We talked about that in the last episode.
Here is the notorious Kona Joe mug.
Show them why it's awesome, though.
Well, so first of all, it's a great mug, but it also has this little like rubber thing at the bottom.
So it doesn't slip slide.
Right. So there you go. Anyway, it's very
Love that mug.
Look, it's a great mug, and you get one when you do the Kona Joe's tour, or I guess you can go to konajoe.com. This is not a paid endorsement. We
don't have any sponsors, please.
We have no sponsorship here, and I mean,
we just share the things we love.
Look, they'll be thrilled with the free plug, I'm sure. But anyway, look, their coffee was nice. We got a free mug. Here it is. Okay.
There you go.
Virgin gave me this free hat. Free merch.
You're covered in free shit.
Well, I mean, this shirt was not free because you have to buy it in the DNR shop, but it was free to me because I've got an inside person who gets me merch. Okay. Anyway, one of the perks of working at DNR is you get some free DNR shit, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome back to Summer Sessions. Of course, if you're not currently a subscriber of our live daily radio show, you're missing the kind of witty banter that you are encountering here in our free Summer Sessions video. And you can get it 5 days a week for 2 hours.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you sure can.
Live with live phone calls. No commercial breaks. We go straight through in 2 hours. It's
we do.
Quite a humdinger of a show.
It's a marathon.
Yeah, it really is. And you can use discount code 2024 to try our show for free at dnrstudios.com. And if you're wondering how to listen, well, we've got our own DNR Cast app that is free to subscribers. You can download it in the Apple App Store or in the Google Play Store because we have
very handy.
Android, very handy. We have a lot of cool features in there, not just listening to our show, but other fun stuff that is included in there. And so you can check it out and learn more about it in the video that Romaine put together for the DNR Cast app right here on our YouTube channel.
That's right.
Or on the home screen of dnrstudios.com. All right.
Right.
But those of you who are already subscribers, thank you. I hope you are enjoying this additional bonus free content that we're doing here on YouTube. And it is fun to see us. We are fun to see in person. No? What is that?
That's what you just did. It was weird.
Yeah, but I was being cute. Like, oh.
That's a cute face?
Yeah, and then you were like, this is weird.
Yeah, that's because it's weird.
Okay. Well, anyway.
All right. Let's get to the show, shall we, Derek? We'll start with the question of the day.
Great place to start.
It is a good place. Derek, what question would you like to ponder on this lovely session?
What is the scariest roller coaster you've ever been on?
This is well, okay. I have two for two very different reasons. One, because I knew it was gonna be the scariest fucking ride ever, and one because I was unprepared.
Okay.
So I'll start with the one where I was unprepared. So at Universal in Florida, there's this like roller coaster where you could choose your own music and all this other shit, right? It's like right at the end of the main drag when you're coming into the park. And I was there with my best friend Kristen TM, and I wasn't paying any attention to the ride itself as we were standing in the line queue. I mean, I didn't pay any attention. I knew it was a roller coaster, but I knew nothing about the roller coaster because I wasn't really aware of my
You really go
surroundings.
through life very blindly,
I
Romaine.
do. I do. So all I do is you got to select your own music. So you sit down, and they had this kind of like wraparound bar that comes around you, and that's the extent of how you are strapped in. So it's not like you like have shoulder harnesses and belts and things like. So you don't really feel super secure. So I'm like, well, this can't be a crazy roller coaster because I'm busy into this thing. And so I'm busy selecting my music because it distracts you in the first few seconds. I'm selecting my music. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna want to listen to some No Doubt, whatever. I'm just a girl or something like that, right?
Sure.
And then the next thing I know, so we're going like forward, forward, forward. The next thing I know, I am staring straight up at the sky. The whole scene has gone like 90-degree angle. I'm staring straight up, and we are literally just going up, 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 up. And that is when I went, what the fuck ride am I on? Because I was not at all prepared for on my back going up, up, up. Because I knew once you go up, you have to come down. And this is one of those rides where it's like literally like a hairpin where you go straight up, straight up, straight up, straight up, and then you do the turn, and then you look and you are going straight the fuck down, or at least it feels like you're going straight the fuck down. Now, anyone who knows me knows I hate free fall. Like that feeling of free falling, I hate it so much. And even no matter what roller coaster I'm on, that free fall feeling is never like that first drop is always my least favorite because it's always so scary to me. But this one, that ride, I got off that and I think I punched my friend Kristen. I'm like, how could you not warn me that that ride was what that ride was? That's terrifying. Scared the shit out of me. Needless to say, I've never been on that ride since. So that one was scary, but because I was not prepared. But the scariest roller coaster that I was prepared for, and I still think it's the scariest roller coaster, I've ridden it many times. You've ridden it with me, Derek, is in the Six Flags in Dallas.
Yeah.
There is a giant orange roller coaster, like one of those like rail roller coasters.
Yeah. Aren't you glad you wrote it?
No, that thing has these three loops that go like this in like a death spiral is what it really is.
Mhm.
And the G-force on that is so crazy. Even that first drop, I remember that first drop on that one is crazy. That ride honestly is probably one of the scariest rides I've ever ridden because I could see how scary it was before I got on it, and that scared the shit out of me. But I've ridden it many times. I would ride it again, but it is very scary for me.
Just
So
like
those
the
are
No
my
Doubt song says, just a girl standing in front of a roller coaster asking it to scare the shit out of me.
yeah,
It's beautiful.
it is.
I do enjoy that roller coaster at Six Flags in
Mhm.
Dallas. It is definitely not the scariest roller coaster I've gone on. I think you might be a pussy. But I will say I will share two roller coaster stories as well because
Okay.
one of them is hilarious about my mom. So many years ago, my mom came to visit. She never visits me. I always have to visit her, and
Mhm.
'cause she doesn't like to travel. And anyway, but my mom came to visit. She stayed with us here for like a week, and it coincided with a gay day at the Six Flags in New Jersey.
Mm.
So a bunch of us gays went to the Six Flags in New Jersey. My mom came along. We had a great time. My mom loves roller coasters. She's much more of like a Six Flags person than a Disney person. She doesn't care about the theme. She has a need for speed and she just wants to get on big roller coasters.
Good. I
Right.
like that.
So we're with a bunch of the gay guys, and Six Flags in New Jersey had just opened their biggest roller coaster in the world. Like it had the steepest, highest drop of any coaster at Six Flags. And it has
I
a
like
thing
that.
where you go basically straight up in a loop and then you come back down like pretty straight down right at the beginning. And it's very, very tall. And you can see it from the parking lot. It's one of these things where it's like the tallest thing in the park. So we get
Terrifying.
there and we were near the ride. It's like, all right, well, who's gonna go on this ride? And a couple of the gay guys chickened out and they were like, oh, I'm not going on that. And my mom goes, great, you can hold my purse, and handed her bag to one of the gay guys and walked away. And the look on their faces of like, oh my God, this other guy's mother, a generation older than I am, is going on this roller
Because
coaster.
she's not a pussy.
No, and I am standing here holding a purse. And anyway, so that was great. And we had a great time on that. And that was a genuinely scary roller coaster. But I
No, thank you.
enjoy, but that to me was like a straight up fight. Like, you know, you're getting a scary thing because you see the drop, you know how scary it is. To me, the scariest roller coaster I ever went on was one that was unsuspectingly terrifying. And
Mm.
that is the wooden roller coaster at Knott's Berry Farm in Southern California. Now, Romaine, I know you've never been to
I
Knott's
haven't.
because whenever we go to town, we always just go to Disneyland.
Right.
Knott's has always been sort of the Disneyland's redheaded stepchild, like down the road. But Knott's does have, they did try to put in some a little more whiz bang rides, but the main thing that Knott's is known for is Knott's Scary Farm, which is where you would love it because it becomes terrifying and monster themed for the entire month of October, and you are chased by people
No.
with chainsaws,
No.
and the people are screaming and jumping
No.
out of the woods, and
Mm-mm.
it's terrifying. It's gross and terrifying. You would love it.
I'd
Anyway.
hate it. I'd
I
hate it.
know.
I fucking hate
Yeah.
it.
So Knott's put in the fastest wooden roller coaster in America or the world or whatever it was. And so we went down to try this wooden roller coaster, and it is a great wooden roller coaster. But when you think about a wooden roller coaster, you think, oh, I'm going up, I'm going down. You think of it as pretty mild salsa, right?
Yeah. It's
But
wooden. There's only so much they can do with it.
yeah, but this was really like a metal tubular roller coaster that had wood
Oh.
around it.
They have started disguising them like
Right.
that. Yeah.
And so at one point at several points in the ride, you feel the car coming off the track on some of the turns. Like, you'll be on the angle of the turn and you can feel like one side of the car like banging up against the wood at the top of like,
Oh,
is
yeah.
this gonna
No.
come loose? And
No.
let me tell you something. That shit is fucking scary because it feels like the ride is coming apart. Not like, oh no, this is a big, steep drop. No, no, it feels like, oh my God, did they actually bolt this in properly? And because it was brand new when I wrote it, it was like, wait, is this actually ready for prime time? Have they fucked up? Are we all going to die? God, terrifying.
And
Anyway,
yet thrilling and fun.
thrilling. It's a great roller coaster. It's
Okay.
fast and super fun. So those are my thing. But I'm generally not afraid of roller coasters because I love roller coasters.
I do too. I do love them.
It's in my family DNA. All of us are hardcore roller coaster people. We just love the thrill.
Yep. I'm with you. I love a
Right.
roller coaster. I love a roller coaster. Okay. Now to the stories that we wanted to cover on the show, but we just never got around to. So, Derek, I will tell you my story. And I'm surprised we didn't get around to this one because this one is bananas. So, this is about a California woman who bought a piece of property in Hawaii. And she found this beautiful piece of property. She bought it. She was going to build a house on it. She was so excited. It was beautiful, beautiful place. And then she bought it in 2018 in a tax auction.
Yeah.
So then she went to visit her lot to try to figure out some of the, how to build out on it, whatever. It had been a while, but she went to visit it. And when she got there, she realized that her 1-acre plot of land had a bit of a problem. because there was a house that was worth about $500,000 sitting on her lot. So evidently, the local contractor who was building out buildings in this area built this $500,000 house on the wrong lot. He was supposed to put it on the lot next door, and instead he put it on her lot. And when they did it, they cleared a lot of the lot, like they cleared a lot of the trees and the stuff from it to build this giant McMansion there. And the woman was furious. This is my lot. You built your house on my lot. And the guy's like, well, you know what? Just have my lot. It's right next door. And she's like, that's not the lot I want. That's not the lot I bought. You fucked this up. I want you to rip down this house and build it on your own damn lot. And so now there is this big court case happening because this woman wants her lot restored and she wants her lot. And the contractor's like, this is ridiculous. Just take the lot that's literally right next door and build your house there. Now, Derek, I'm curious, who do you think is in the right and who do you think is in the wrong here?
Well, legally, she is in the right because it is her property. The contractor, the builder made a mistake. And it is the responsibility of the contractor who, like, essentially, I mean, you could look at it as an improvement on her private property, but the reality is it is, in the eyes of the law, damage to her public property or her private property, sorry. And actually, more recently, the courts in Hawaii have agreed with her that the modification to her private property that she did not request nor wants has to be rectified. And they tore down that house.
Oh, they did? I did not know there was an update to this story.
Yeah.
I pulled the story a while back.
Yeah. But the thing about because you could imagine that she could just say, well, you built this house. Now I own this house. It's on my property. And I will just live in this house. It's my house now.
But she didn't want that house.
She could have done that. But yeah, she didn't want that house. If I were her, I get, she bought this in a tax auction, whatever. They built a free house on it. Girl, sell the house and the property. Take all that money, because if she bought it at a tax auction, she got that property for a song.
She got the property for $22,500.
Yeah, exactly. Now she has an acre property with a McMansion on it that almost certainly is worth whatever, $500,000 to $1 million, right?
Yeah.
So, bitch, sell that property, take that money, and then buy 40 acres in Hawaii. And
agreed. I think that would have been the smart thing to do. But instead, she had him tear down this beautiful brand new house.
Yeah.
That's
which
crazy.
I think is ridiculous and also just wasteful.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? It's her property and she could do whatever the hell she wants with it. And if that's what she wants to do, legally, it's within her right to do it. But if
that contractor really messed up.
Yeah. But if it were me, I would have been like, sorry, chumps. I'm selling this property because I own it. It's mine. And I'm going to take all that money for myself.
Here's what I don't understand. In all of the process of building on this property, how did the contractor not realize that he was building on the wrong property?
Well, you pull permits and whatever else and blah, 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 blah. And the thing is that my guess is that this is an area where there's more than one undeveloped lot, obviously.
I'm sure there are.
And they just, assumed that was the lot for whatever reason, and just made that initial mistake. But yeah, I agree. It is weird. It's because
you have to run electricity, you have to run plumbing, like all of those things, like all those municipality type things have to be run there. So you would imagine that someone would have been like, this is not the right lot. Or did they clear the land and just say, well, we already cleared this one, so fuck it, we're just going to build here?
No, I mean, you have to wonder if it was just a situation where no one was really paying close attention. Like, for instance, if you needed to bring in a sewer line or a power line or whatever, where you have the property, the construction stuff was already going on there. They had like spray painted where that line is supposed to go in. So when the electric company comes to put in the line extension or
But
whatever,
what about when the inspectors come? Because you have to have inspections at various phases throughout the building process.
yeah, but I mean, like this happens because in my neighborhood, for instance, we have open lawns from one house to another house. So it's not always exactly clear where a property line is
True.
between two houses. And
Right.
you only really need to know when you're, say, building a fence, right?
Right.
Or
Yeah.
building some other, if you're building an outbuilding, and because most places will have a thing of you can't build something within 10 feet of a property line or something
Yeah.
without
Yeah. You
the
have to have like an
approval of
easement.
the
Yeah.
neighbor, right? You have to get like an easement. So usually this only comes up when there's some kind of issue here, but it is entirely possible that the inspector coming by, you pull up and there's a house on your first thought is not going to be, let me make sure that this is the exact latitude and longitude of where this property is.
Right.
They pull up, they see a house on a piece of property. So, from an inspection standpoint, they're not double checking that the builder didn't accidentally spend $500,000 building a house on the wrong lot. I mean, it is crazy, but it just seems like the mistake happened early in the process,
Right.
and all of the other third parties who came by after that didn't notice for whatever reason. Um, and I don't know in this case or what actually happened between people. It is entirely possible that at some point, hundreds of thousands of dollars into the process, the builder might have realized their mistake. And maybe they just thought, let's just power through because it's not worth saying something now. And maybe no one will notice later. And if they do, they'll just take the other property and it'll be fine. Like it could have been that there could have been some calculus at a midpoint where it's just like, we might as well roll the dice and keep going here and have plausible
I mean,
deniability.
I gotta be honest. It seems like this lady, I mean, I get that she's in the right, but she also could have been more, I don't know. She could have been better about it. She could have said, you know what, I'll just take the lot next door. I'm sure there's not a big difference between the two lots. Because it sounds like it was a big piece of property that was chopped into 1 acre like
Right.
segments. So it's
But
like, you know,
sometimes a piece of property will have a more desirable or direct view of something,
sure.
especially if like they built this McMansion on her piece of property and it blocked the view of Diamond Head, for instance,
Right.
on her property, on the other property they wanted her to have. That would be a non-starter for me.
Well,
It's like I
certainly.
can't
Yeah.
build something bigger up and over it, and now you have blocked this view. So it could have been something as simple as that. But if I were
Yeah.
her, yeah, I would have gone to court, had the court say the house is yours, and then I would have sold that property,
Yeah. That makes
tidy
sense.
sum, and gone on with my life.
Agreed. All right.
Okay.
So that was my story.
All right. Well, my story is about one of our favorite people,
Hmm.
Dolly Parton, because
Ah,
we're going to be at Dollywood in September.
yeah.
And we always have a great time. Listeners come and we hang out. And for our Great Smoky Weekend, you can get tickets at greatsmokyweekend.com and check it out. But it really is a fun time, and it's a great park,
Yep.
voted uh, best theme park in America by Travel Advisor or
Yep.
Travelocity, whatever it is. Anyway, it's a great time. Well, we love Dolly. Dolly's terrific. And many years ago, there was a 9 to 5 musical that Dolly did the music for. And it did okay. Allison Janney was in it. It didn't do that well at the Tonys, and it played for a little while. But it was not like the smash hit I think they were hoping for.
Right.
But also, I think Megan Hilty was in that too. I think she
Oh.
played Dolly's role. Anyway, I don't know. I didn't see it, so I have no idea. But Dolly is headed back to Broadway in a way. She is writing a musical about her life called Hello, I'm Dolly.
So is this gonna be similar to like that Cher musical?
It probably will be a little bit of a Dolly jukebox musical,
Uh-huh.
but she probably will be writing some new songs for it as
That's
well.
awesome.
But I would imagine that Coat of Many Colors will be in there,
Yeah.
and some of the other hit songs. I Will Always Love You will probably be in there. There will probably be because she wrote I Will Always Love You for Porter Wagner. 'Cause she early in her career, she was the girl on Porter Wagner's like variety
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
And she quickly became the breakout star on that show and wanted to expand her career. And he was really kind of in the way of that because he really felt like I'm the star and, this is about me. And, but she did eventually break away. But part of how she did was she wrote this song about him, about like, I appreciate what you've done for me, but I gotta go.
Right.
Right. And she wrote that song and played it for him. And he cried and he said, yeah, you can go. Like, do this on the show. And yeah, you could go. And I think that was probably a hard decision for him because he has really moved into the dustbin of country music history. And she obviously has, country music has sort of centered around her ever since.
Yeah.
But even still, I would imagine that Coat of Many Colors and I Will Always Love You and some of the other songs she's written along the way, Backwoods Barbie maybe, will all be in this musical along with some new
Yeah.
songs. But
Which would be
we
great. I'm
yes,
excited about it.
yes. So we will have sort of a Dolly jukebox musical that will be coming to Broadway at some point in the future.
That's exciting.
And yeah, but Dolly has a great story
Mm-hmm.
of, growing up poor and meeting an extremely handsome man and being married for, God, now 60 years, almost 60
Yeah.
years. And that Carl Dean, he was a hot piece. And anyway, so I think that she has an interesting story and she has great music to put into it. So I think it'll be a little bit of a cut above other jukebox musicals because, if you think about like the Jersey Boys or something, right, which was a big
Mm-hmm.
hit, their music wasn't necessarily about their lives, right? So incorporating their hit songs into the musical is a little bit harder. But
Sure.
Dolly, because of the nature of her songwriting and the fact that she's can write new songs, the songs can be much more about her life. And country music, you're frequently writing about your life.
Right.
Jolene and I Will Always Love You and Coat of Many Colors. These are all songs that are actually born out of her actual life.
Right.
And so it fits better in a jukebox musical format.
Agreed.
So there you
Absolutely
go.
agree. I'm excited about that. I can get down with that with
With
Dolly.
Hello, I'm Dolly
Yeah.
and her sort of play on the musical Hello, Dolly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yes.
with Dolly Levi, which is also a terrific musical. Okay, well, this dovetails perfectly into our What's Hot About because Dolly has aspirations to go to Broadway, and Broadway is in New York City, and that's what we're hot about in this episode of Summer Sessions.
All right. So I have two things about New York City that I'm gonna recommend. And one is about drinking and one is about food. And these
Okay.
are recent discoveries for me in the last couple of years, and I love them both. I'm obsessed with them both, and I go as often as I can. So the first is the Tiki Chick. So this was introduced to me by our listeners, Jason and Dan. What is happening, Jason? And the Tiki Chick is it's a tiki bar that is located on 85th, I want to say, in Amsterdam in New York City, and it is just a local little neighborhood bar that has incredible tiki drinks, like the best, super fun staff, super cool place to hang out. I love going there, and sometimes I'll sneak next door to Jacob's Pickles and have dinner afterwards. And that Jacob's Pickles is fucking delicious too. They have the same owner. Anyway, so I love that combination of things. The second place, again, I was introduced to it by Jason and Dan. They introduced me to a lot of great New York things. But it's Empanada Mamas. So Empanada Mamas is open 24/7 over on the west side on like 53rd and I want to say 9th Avenue. And they have the best fucking empanadas, but they also have like a quick little like walk in and grab and go kind of place over on 40th near Times Square. So a lot of times when I go into the city, if I'm in that neighborhood, I will go and pick up like a dozen empanadas and bring them home for Iris and Romy. And I'm just telling you, those fucking empanadas are yummy, delicious, so good. But the location on Ninth Avenue, it's super gay hangout. It's right there in Hell's Kitchen. You see lots of the famous drag queens that regularly go there from like RuPaul's Drag Race and things like that, especially late at night. It's a great place, great food, not super duper expensive. Fucking love it.
All right. Those are all great food recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
My recommendations are actually some free things in New York
Okay.
City. New York City is obviously expensive, but there's definitely a lot of fun stuff, cool stuff to do in New York City that is free. And so one of the things I would say, because it's always a thrill for me, is going to Grand Central Terminal. Although
I
I think
love
now
that.
technically it's a station because trains run directly through it. But Grand Central is beautiful, and the ceiling has the astrological signs on it from the sky. It's and in inverse, but it's a cool place and a great piece of history. When you're out front, you can see the Chrysler Building, which is my favorite of all the New York buildings, from down the street from it. But it's great. You can go there for free and walk
Yeah.
around. It's a big place. And in the summertime, when it's a little warm, you can go inside and it's nice and cool and everything. So I recommend that. The High Line has become a really
Oh,
big,
love the
popular
High Line. Love it.
thing. It is an elevated rail track that they have turned into a walking trail with native plantings through the west side
It's
of
beautiful.
Manhattan. It is terrific. Again, it's free. It's just like a elevated walking trail. But you come down and there's like beer gardens and the Hudson Yards and other things
Mm-hmm.
that have sprung up around the High Line, which is great to see. And it's free. You just
Yep.
walk around, it's free. Also, the newest thing that we have that is free is Little Island.
Mm-hmm.
This is what Barry Diller and Dion von Furstenberg funded, and it is a island that looks like sort of tulips coming out of the Hudson River. And you do have to get tickets online because it's a limited amount of space, but the tickets are free. And Little Island is great, and they have like a concert series thing there, and you can walk around. It has little trails and everything. It's cute,
It's
and
adorable.
and so if you want to see something that is, cute and free, check that out. Also, I would recommend if you come to New York, walk the Brooklyn Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
It is, a classic part of New York City. You can take a subway to like the Brooklyn Bridge station. It's not hard to get to and from the Brooklyn Bridge, but it is great to sort of walk out and be out on the East River. And there are walking trails. You can also like ride a bike, like get a city bike. That costs money, but you can
Yeah.
get a city bike and ride a bike across the Brooklyn Bridge. And then we have a couple of botanical gardens in the city. Brooklyn has a botanical garden, which is gorgeous.
Yep.
And then the botanical gardens up in the Bronx is spectacular. So, depending on the season that you're in town, I would also recommend those do cost money to get into, but that's also like great stuff that you wouldn't necessarily think about for New York
Right.
that are sort of outside of Times Square that are wonderful things to see.
No, those are all awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're coming to New York, we're sailing to Bermuda in November, and a bunch of people will be coming to New York the weekend before we leave. And Cola Scola's huge hit show, Oh Mary, which is a riotous comedy where they play Mary Todd Lincoln, has been extended at the Lyceum Theater through mid-November. So if you are planning to come to New York to join us on this Bermuda sailing, or just come for the weekend before we sail away, that is my strong recommend for what's hot on Broadway right now. Oh, Mary. People are just absolutely in love with it.
I'm going to see it in like a hot minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So
excited.
yeah. So if you're looking for something to go and see on Broadway, get tickets to that. It's apparently an absolute hoot, but I haven't seen it yet. But everybody I trust raves about it. All right, well, Romaine, last week we had the shortest one of these we've ever had, and unfortunately, I think this one was the longest.
But we still have listener feedback.
Oh God, yes, we do. All
How
right.
could you forget that? Let's get through them quick because we're almost out of time.
John says, keep clanging that ice. DNR ASMR. Another benefit included in the subscription, Romaine. I'm not hearing anything.
It's there. It's
Okay.
in my cup, but I have tried to switch to my cup with a straw to make it less prominent. That's
Fabulous.
as good as I can do. I need this studio is the fucking it's very hot in my studio. I need my ice water. Sorry, bitches.
Girl, it's hot because it's summer. Have you ever thought,
No. And
gosh,
that's why I need my ice water.
this has gone on far too long. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Summer Sessions. We'll do our best to keep it under an hour next time, but not a guarantee.
Okay.